Praise be Jesus Christ and Mary Immaculate. Welcome to this 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. We will read from the Gospel of Mark chapter 7. In today's Gospel story, Jesus continues his teaching on the commandments. Today's Gospel gives us a profound lesson from Jesus, one that speaks to the heart of our faith and challenges us to reflect deeply on our actions and our attitudes. We hear that whenever Jesus brings life, opposition surely follows, and today's passage is no different. This opposition comes from the religious authorities of the time of Jesus, the Pharisees and the scribes. They were the strict followers of the law, especially of the 613 commandments that they believed were given by Moses. These commandments were meant to keep them pure and separate from anything that they could or anyone that they considered to be unclean. But the Pharisees noticed something troubling to them that they pointed out to Jesus. Some of the disciples of Jesus were eating without first washing their hands. Now, this wasn't about hygiene as we think about it today. It was strictly about purity, a deeply religious practice that had developed over time and maybe became exaggerated. The Pharisees saw this as a serious violation of the tradition, and they confronted Jesus about it. "Why don't your disciples follow the tradition of the elders?" they asked. And Jesus' response might have surprised them, and it might surprise us too. He began by quoting the prophet Isaiah, saying, "This people honors me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." In other words, they were more focused on the outward appearance of religion rather than the inner reality of religion. Their worship was more about following human traditions than about loving God and neighbor. Then Jesus took it a step further. He explained that what defiles a person isn't what goes into them, like food that hasn't been cleansed, but what comes out of them. What defiles a person, Jesus teaches, are the things that come from within us: evil thoughts, actions that harm others, attitudes that separate us from God and from one another. Jesus gives us a list of several of these things: sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, wickedness, deceit, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. Notice that none of these are about religious rituals. They're all about how we relate to God and to one another. Jesus is telling us that true purity isn't about following rituals or traditions for their own sake. That true purity is about the love that we show in our relationships with God and with our neighbors, and with ourselves as well. This teaching of Jesus invites us to examine our own lives. Are there ways in which we, like the Pharisees, might be focusing more on the outward appearance than on the true substance of our faith? Are we sometimes more concerned with following traditions or rules than when actually following and living out the commandment to love God and to love our neighbor? The heart of our faith is love, and love of God and love our neighbor is inseparable. Jesus challenges us to move beyond the religion of appearance and to embrace a faith that transforms our hearts. He calls us to look inward, to see what truly drives our actions, and to make sure that our lives reflect the love and the mercy of God. Today, let us ask God for the grace to cleanse our hearts, to let go of anything that separates us from Him and from others. Let's ask for the strength to live out our faith in a way that is genuinely rooted in love and pleasing to God. May the Lord bless us all as we strive to follow Him with hearts that are pure, not just in appearance, but in truth. God bless you.